the latest from the campaign trail. Donald Trump is not letting the campaign shakeup and tough poll numbers slow him down. The Republican presidential nominee is vowing to be the best leader and champion for Americans if he is elected in November.
I will fight to ensure that every American is treated equally. I am asking for your vote on November 8th so I can be your champion in the White House.
So does he have what it takes to be the great leader that people would like? Who better to ask than one of the most successful college football coaches in history? I want to bring in former Notre Dame football coach and a Donald Trump supporter, Lou Holtz. Coach, good to see you. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Marie.
Tell us why you are supporting Trump and whether you think he can turn these poll numbers around.
Well, I think that he can, but if he's going to, not only do his supporters have to vote for him, they better go out and recruit an awful lot of other people. I think this is the most important election in my lifetime, and I'm an old man. I think life's a matter of choices. You have to choose. Do you want this country to go in the direction it does, or do you want to make some changes? You look at the problems we have, less people in the workforce, more people in poverty, welfare, food stamps. You look at the problems we have with the budget. You look at the foreign relations. And most important of all, the Supreme Court justices. That's going to change what this country is going to be like for the next 40 years.
You're right.
Coach, it's Dagan McDowell. Coach Donald Trump and tell him how to stay on message, my friend.
What would be your Dr. Lou advice to Donald Trump right now to get out of these doldrums? I want to channel that and give a blast from the past. You've had so many great words of wisdoms, including, I'd just like to share this. Maybe this is it. You're never as good as everyone tells you when you win, and you're never as bad as they say when you lose. So would that be your Dr. Lou advice?
Good advice.
What's the best advice to give him?
I think it would be. If I was a Dr. Lou, I'd say, you must take your message to the people and focus on what you're going to do. That's why the Lord put eyes in front of your head rather than back. Understand you aren't going to get fair coverage in the media, and it's going to be up to you to get your people out and to believe. But once again, go vote, but look at the facts. Look at it and determine for yourself. I think this country has definitely moved in the wrong direction, but that's me. Maybe somebody else feels differently. But I think if you look at the success of Donald Trump, nobody talks about this. There was a time in New York, and I don't remember exactly, Marie, it was over budget, way late. Donald Trump said, I'll take it over. Finished it in 6 months under the budget. You go to his golf courses, you go to his hotels. Everything he does is first class. The guy has succeeded. Remember 4 years ago, Romney, all the success he had with the Olympics, he rescued it. His success in business, what they talk about? He had a dog on the top of his car, and when he was in high school, he intimidated somebody. That's not important, but see, that's what the media wants you to understand, and that's why you have to fight an uphill battle. But most important of all for the people, understand. Supreme Court. If you're a Republican, you don't like Trump. You say, well, I don't like what he said about immigration with Muslims. Let's remember this. Many years ago, Marie, one of the questions they asked, are you a communist? If you were, you got vetted more seriously than if you were not a communist. So there's been a history of this. Let's look at this country. He does want to make it great. We are a great country, but I don't like the direction we're going. Do we want to become a European nation? But let's remember the European nation, which has all these free give-outs, they don't have to defend the world like we do and spend money on the military such as us.
So how come he's losing ground in the polls?
Well, I think because people are focusing on the wrong things. They're focusing on, well, we don't like what he said about this, about that. I defy you to find me a positive comment on Donald Trump in a major newspaper or on a major TV network other than Fox in the last 2 months. Now, when he was running, it was obvious the media wanted him to be the nominee because they supported him, put him on TV. Once he got it, now they're doing everything but tear him down. You can't find the positive thing, and you aren't going to tell me all the success he has. There's not a lot of positive things.
Well, Dr. Lou, on that note, then tell him to did you ever care what some opponents said about you? No, you care about your own game and your own execution. Why does Donald Trump care so much what the media says about him? Just move on. Ignore him.
I agree with you completely. I think that you have to take your message to the public. And there are going to be negative things said, and he does get off track, etc. I agree with you completely. But nevertheless, we don't get the positive things about him.
I think it's more serious, though, because the way the media is run now with social media, a lot of times people just read headlines. So they'll read the statement that he said. Once it's explained, it doesn't sound so bad, but a lot of people don't go that far, as opposed to what Hillary Clinton's, Clinton Foundation, all these scandals. You actually have to read an article to kind of understand how bad that is. Trump's making it kind of too easy with the way that he's talking, which, may have worked in the primary, but now he's kind of got to tone it down, I think.
Yeah.
I think that what has happened, Marie, they have painted him as this ill-tempered individual that can't be trusted. But I think this, trust is absolutely critical. And I think people like me are tired of what happens in Washington. Don't tell me that wasn't ransom. Don't lie to me. You lie to me because you insult my intelligence, you don't think I'm smart enough to handle the truth, or you don't think I'm strong enough. Tell me the truth, and the truth does not come out of Washington.
Well, you got to give us real quick your thoughts on the college season before you go, Coach. What are you expecting?
Right now, Marie, everybody thinks they're going to be great. Everybody's optimistic, etc. There'll be somebody that'll surprise you, but we'll see the normal team. The teams that I think might shock you, Nebraska, Tennessee, and Notre Dame, along with the perennial teams such as Alabama, LSU, Michigan, Ohio State, etc.
So what's the secret to winning?
The secret to winning is don't beat yourself. Make good choices. Protect the football. That football is so important, Marie. Do you realize they named the game after it? So if you have it, protect it. Don't put it on the ground.
There you go. Dr. Lou, your advice. We appreciate it. Lou Holtz, good to see you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
We appreciate it.